Namaskar. Today it's May 2nd, 2026. Welcome to day 50 of Satvik Yogi Path. Today it is the exact halfway of our 100 days practices in returning to the essence of yoga towards a celebration of International Day of Yoga on June 21st. This halfway is not middle. It is a shift from learning to becoming. From today, also our daily live stream practices shifts to 9 p.m. USA Eastern Time, which is GMT -4. So we can practice with more ease and steadiness. Now, what is Satvik Yogi Path? The 100 days Satvik Yogi Path. Each year on March 14th begins my 100-day journey in returning to the essence of yoga. So what is the Satvik Yogi Path? The Satvik Yogi Path, it is a gentle, classical, navel-centered approach to yoga rooted in the Yoga Sutra. And it is open to everyone, anyone from all backgrounds and belief systems. It is a practice that welcomes all without ritual, ideology, or cultural expectations. It is simple, clean, steady, and grounded in Ashtang Yoga, the Ashtang Yoga, or the eight limb system compiled by Maharshi Patanjali in 250 BCE. And it is rooted in the classical Sankhya Yoga philosophical system. That's the yoga tradition from India that I practice. Now, every practice is guided by simplicity, clarity, inclusivity, returning yoga to its essence, awareness, steadiness, and inner truth. Yesterday, in day 49, we explored direct clarity. A clarity that is seen, not learned from memory. But today, Maharishi Patanjali tells us what this clarity does inside of us, what this clarity leaves behind. So here is the Sutra 1.5. Tajjaḥ. Tajjaḥ saṁskāro anya saṁskāra pratibandhī. So let us recite it once again. Tajjaḥ. Tajjaḥ saṁskāra anya saṁskāra pratibandhī. What does that mean? Tajjaḥ saṁskāro anya saṁskāra pratibandhī. Let us break it down word by word. Taj, Taja, which means born from clarity. Sanskar. Sanskar is the impression or the subtle imprint. Anya sanskar. Anya sanskar is older impressions or patterns. And pratibandhi. Pratibandhi is that which blocks or weakens or dissolves. So which means tajjaḥ saṁskāro anya saṁskāra pratibandhī, the impression born from clarity is so pure that it gradually weakens the older impressions and patterns. Maharshi Patanjali says that when clarity becomes steady, it leaves a clean impression in the mind. When the clarity becomes steady, it leaves a clean impression in the mind. This impression is gentle, quiet, and pure. And because it is pure, it begins to dissolve older impressions. Impressions that are made of habit, fear, memory, and conditioning. And the transformation is not dramatic, it is subtle, it is cumulative, it is the slow replacement of old patterns with new clarity. So, I have an analogy to better understand this. And the analogy is the clear drop in cloudy water. Clear drop in cloudy water. Imagine a bowl of cloudy water. Cloudy water. And one drop of clean water drops on it, but it changes nothing, right? Just one drop in the bowl of cloudy water. But many drops over time of clean water will will gradually make the water clear. And Maharshi Patanjali says that clarity works the same way. Each moment of truth leaves a clean impression, and that gradually replaces the old ones. Now, I've been also referring to this book by Satyanand Swami Dayanand Saraswati, and this is the four chapters on freedom. Swami Dayanand Saraswati, the four chapters of freedom is Yoga Sutra, and we are currently, since March 14th, we are practicing Yoga Sutra. Today it's the 50th Yoga Sutra from the first chapter. So Yoga Sutra has four chapters, and we have been practicing the first chapter. And today it's the 50th Yoga Sutra from the first chapter, and it is called Samadhi Pad. So Swami Dayanand Saraswati, in his book of four chapters of freedom, in the first chapter, this is the first chapter that's going on, Yoga Sutra 50, his insights I wanted to share with you, that he explains that the impressions born from clarity is completely different from ordinary impressions. Ordinary impressions come from habit, memory, or emotion, and they pull the mind outward. Habit, memory, conditioning, and these impressions pull the mind outward. But the impression from the truth, born from the truth, the truth filled clarity, the clarity that is seen. So, this clarity, the impression that is born from the truth filled clarity, so it turns the mind inwards. That's the difference. The ordinary impressions pulls the mind outwards, and the truth filled clarity, the clarity that is seen, as seen by yourself. Remember yesterday's analogy of sunrise. You see it for yourself. It is simple, it's direct, it's free of interpretation. So, that direct clarity, the impressions that is born of this direct clarity, turns the mind inwards. So that's the difference. Now, because it is born from clarity, it has the strength to gently neutralize older impressions that were formed in confusion or reactivity. And over time, this pure impression becomes stronger. As it accumulates, it becomes stronger, and the older patterns lose their hold. Transformation happens not through force, but through quiet strength of clarity. Let us be very clear right now, right here, right now, that the transformation that we are talking about is not something that would happen overnight or quick or immediate. It is a transformation over time with practice. So let that settle into you. Transformation is quiet accumulation of clarity. Now, what we practice today, before I go there, let me grab hold of my glasses and I see Utpal Day 2329. Utpal Day 2329, thank you so much for joining. I really missed you earlier. I didn't see you earlier. I'm so happy that you have joined. So thankful that you could join. Thank you. Thank you. So today we are practicing one, noticing a clean impression. So there are these practices. We notice a clean impression. Then rest attention lightly on that impression. And observe old patterns soften. And then allowing clarity to settle. And at the end, gentle repetition of Om. So this is what we are going to practice today. So let us get ready with our first stillness practice, where we would notice a clean impression. That's our first practice, stillness practice. So let us sit comfortably. And by now, you know that when I say sit comfortably, which only means back and spine straight, look at a point right in front of you at the eye level and just keep looking at it with a smile on your face, because this is your moment. This is your moment. You are present in this moment, right here, right now, and that's the truth. So let us just experience this clarity by ourselves. So sit comfortably with your back and spine straight. Roll your shoulder to open up your chest. Open up your chest and look how broad your chest can be. And so the lungs, well, I share this when I teach my class. I say this, that your lungs get extra space to work to its fullest. And it's so true. If our posture is correct, if we are able to fix our posture, then of course, the chest expands and the lungs get some extra room to breathe. So sit comfortably with your smile back on your face. Now recall one moment of clarity today. One moment of clarity. It could be a breath, a pause, or a simple truth. Remember, the clarity is that you have experienced yourself like a sunrise that you have seen, or your own breath. Now, once you have noticed that clean impression, then we move on to this next when we let the attention rest lightly. So, in the first stillness, settling our breath, let us place one hand on our navel, if you can see on your navel, back and spine straight, with a smile on your face. Just observe your breath. Few times. And now you breathe in and breathe out with awareness. You have your hand placed onto your navel. And as you breathe in, the belly button or the navel or the nabhi extends. Breathe out, it distends. That's the awareness that you're here right now. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Make sure your smile is on. Now, as we are settling our breath, we notice our breath as the clean impression. Now we bring our attention and lightly rest our attention on it. Now, your hand is on your navel and you're breathing in with awareness and out. And you do this 3 times. And open your eyes. Now stay with this moment gently and let this leave a clean impression, which means that you noticed your breath. You are breathing with awareness and you have your full attention on your breathing. You are present. You are aware and you are right here in the moment. Now we observe old patterns. Remember old patterns or old impressions through we which pulls the mind outwards. It's the habit, it is from memory, or it is from past experiences. So the impression that we have, we will observe how it softens. So notice if your mind becomes a little quieter and a little less reactive. Quieter and little less reactive. So you're breathing Breathing out with awareness. You're fully concentrated on your breath. And now you would practice on letting your old pattern soften, which means that the thought, as you're practicing, the thought that comes to your mind, any thought, we just let it go. Another thought comes, we let it go. Someone's calling, not now. So one thought comes and goes, another replaces it. But anytime you feel that, oh, I think I am a little distracted by the thought, by the impression, just bring your focus back to your breath. You have your hand lightly over your navel. Just bring all your concentration onto your breathing. So this practice of every time you feel that some thought disturbs you, you're confused, just bring your entire attention back to your navel or your breath. So in this practice, stillness practice, the first step is that notice, you notice the impression. You notice the clarity, which is your breath or the moment, and we are placing our hand lightly over our navel so that it guides us when the mind suddenly starts to wander. So as it starts to wander, and you would know, you would immediately bring it back to your navel, your anchor. And you would notice that as you keep doing that again and again and again, and slowly you would notice that your mind starts to quiet down. Now, once you have reached this state where you feel that the mind is starting to quiet down as I'm bringing all my attention to my breath. And that's when you allow the clarity to settle. It is a slow process. It is with every step, your awareness increases. You're working, the tool is awareness. The tool you're using is awareness. So each time your mind starts to wander or chase a thought or follow the thought that comes to your mind, and or if it's trying to become that thought could be anything from your habit, from your memory, but we are practicing to quiet our mind. And anytime that happens, we bring all our attention back to the navel, and that's why we are placing our hand gently onto our nabhi or navel, because the nabhi is guiding the movement. So as soon as you bring it, and slowly you would notice the quietness. The mind is quiet, and when the mind is quiet, clarity appears. Now let's practice gentle repetition of the universal sound Om. And we practiced before. We inhale and the o, it starts from the belly. It moves through the chest, o, and the vibration of softens at the lips. So let's practice. Placing your hand when you find, so we are doing in steps. First, notice the impression, the clean impression. Once you have noticed, for example, your breath or a moment, then you lay the attention lightly on it. So you bring all your attention to it, and then you let the thoughts, the older impressions soften. How? Just by bringing, anytime the thoughts you feel confused or you feel reactive, immediately bringing back all your concentration to your breath. And you keep doing that, and when the time when you see that mind is, now it is quieter, and clarity appears. Let the clarity appear. And then you practice on this, the Om. How do we do that? Take few short breaths. Remember, back and spine straight, chin slightly tucked in. And we do 3 repetitions of Om. Now take a deep breath in, and with exhalation, Om. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. And the last, take a deep breath in. Stay like that. And now gently open your eyes. Now let's practice bhavna. Bhavna, or the contemplation. And now when you are giving it time, the Om, after the Om repetition, and you would just contemplate on that, transformation is a quiet accumulation of clarity. And you contemplate on that. Transformation is a quiet accumulation of clarity. So day 50, of course, I have a challenge for you on day 50. And the challenge is that you would take a pause today. And in that pause, you would notice one clean impression, clean impression that arises out of clarity, direct clarity. That is your challenge. And day 50 reminds us that clarity leaves a clean impression that slowly transforms the mind. Slowly transforms the mind. Thank you for practicing with me today and showing up every day. We meet again tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, that the time has changed. It is now GMT -4 or USA Eastern Time. It is 9 p.m. and India time it is 6:30 a.m. So over the next 50 days, stay with me. We'll meet again tomorrow. Until then, stay warm, stay open, and most importantly, stay honest to your own story.